Okay, well then, to try to move this thing along, I say we get started. It is August 13th. David is out again. He'll be back later this week, so I will be master of ceremonies for the meeting. Um, Once again, let me know if there's anything I can do to make these meetings more productive. I want to make the most out of everyone's time. So let's jump right into it. So I've captured some action items from last week. I see a lot of them. The status has been updated. Um, Actually, it looks like everything has been marked done, so bravo for us. Good job, guys. Way to stay on top of things. Let's jump right in then with the Sumo development update. Kadir.
Let me give one update because it's not clarified here. I said I would come back with investigating the drop rate in the answer. No, not the answer rate, but it was the helpfulness rate actually. So the reason why we on August 5, the helpfulness in the KB in the forums went down to 18%, and I tracked that down to a single person, or rather a script actually voting 600 times on different forum posts. I'm going to talk to Ricky if we can implement rate limiting, if we can drop that in, if that's easy to do. Other than that, we will have to monitor that. If that happens again, then we will need to do that. Otherwise, we can just look at that and see it's basically a spammer.
So Kadir,
Yep.
is this something that we've looked into in other instances where our helpfulness rate has dropped drastically? I mean, can we look back and see if some of those other dips were also done by spammers?
Yeah, absolutely. We can absolutely do that. So I mean, we can do that. It's just it runs for a while, the query, but I can do that if there's interest in that.
Michael.
Yeah, so can you just explain what the how is that even like, is that just malicious? Let me just vote a bunch of no's on answers?
No, I think that was a script. So usually votes per day, and on that day we had about 700 votes, no votes, just no votes from a single ID, an anonymous user, because we allow anonymous people to vote. So basically, but we still give them an ID. Like we still track whether it is a single person doing that or not. So we have this string that can
Right.
identify people voting.
So
And basically, it was 700 votes, no votes, and I don't think anyone went through the forum and actually clicked on 700 different threads.
No, I know,
It's
but I
probably
mean,
a script that someone wrote.
and like what would it I guess the purpose would just be to be malicious, just to
Yeah, we have an issue these days with people actually attacking the site. There is also just something from yesterday about basically trying to put cross-site scripting, like JavaScript, into different fields. And I'm actually trying to track this down in the KB too. In the KB, there's this script basically adding new revisions, but not filling in anything useful, but instead just JavaScript to basically test apparently where we have exploitable parts. So far, it looks like we're holding up pretty well, but this is something I want to bring up with the dev team and where we can rate limit this to.
So the security team does that on purpose. That's actually we pay
Oh.
a company. Sorry?
Yeah.
On prod, I think. Right? They're not injecting anything that's actually malicious. They're just injecting code to detect whether or not that code is being processed. Right? So and they're doing it on prod because they have to. So we have our security team specifically running these. At least that's what I heard about before. I didn't realize. So anyway, that's what you should talk to. The person who used to run this program is Reed, but he doesn't work for us anymore. So talk to Michael Coates and see if they're still running stuff like that.
Oh, like we may be able to verify. Oh yeah, we were testing you guys that day.
Oh really?
Yeah,
we didn't.
Injecting random stuff. They have something that runs basically constantly that goes through and tries all the random fields and all the Mozilla properties, to make sure there are no gaps.
Oh.
Okay, so I've captured a couple of action items here. So Kadir, you'll reach out to the security team to find out if this is something that they've done on purpose. The other one is to work with Ricky to ensure that if this was something malicious, that we can mitigate that from happening again. So I'm going to give you both of those action items. Is that okay?
Sure thing. But just for the helpfulness graph, I mean, that's just, that must have been a script just voting, because it's just voting and it's voted 700 times. So I think in that case, we need to see if we can drop in rate limiting easily, and if not, just see if that's a valid thing that we should develop for, or whether it's a one-off thing that's not so important.
So can you check the user agents on all of those votes and see if there's something unusual going on there? Because most people who write scripts don't bother writing in user agents into their bots. So you should be able to tell which votes are illegitimate pretty easily.
Yeah, I can look that up. That can be another action item for me.
Okay, I'll capture that. Kadir, then, if you want to take us into the SUMO development update.
Yes. All right. So the 15th sprint is coming to an end, and this time I tried to give a bit more overview of what's going on in the sprints. Let me know what you think about that. So basically, what we are doing is we have our high priority project. That's the IA and the redesign. So maybe it's not clear from the outside, but there are actually two parts. One of them is the IA that we are changing. So we have new things on the sites. So the information architecture is changing, and how people are using the site and how they can move from site to site. And on the other hand, we are actually also redesigning the site. So it's getting a new skin to look more like the other Mozilla properties. That's the one Mozilla design thing. So even sites that are not being updated content-wise, that still have the same elements that they had before, we are updating them to actually look like a coherent site, one thing that is Mozilla. So I broke this down, and you can see which parts of that we have worked on during the last 2 weeks. It's basically all the elements on the IA part, the home page, locale switchers, product pages. And at the same time, once we are done with the templates, once we are done with the IA parts of this, we also try to redesign them. So you can see what we have done this week on the home page, the product landing page, article pages, and topic landing pages. So this is not showing up on production, but you can look at that. If you're an administrator, you can see that on Elizam. So on staging, you will be able to follow along. And we will hold this back until we have redesigned just that we need for the IA and all the pages that are user-facing. And then we will see how the remaining parts work with the new design, the ones that are not user-facing, the KPI dashboards, the user profiles, private messaging, and stuff like that. We will see how they work with the new design. The basic threshold is that everything on the site should be usable, and the more user-facing it is, the more we look at that people are actually able to use this before, and the more it's on the administrator side, the more we are okay with workarounds for the transitioning phase. So we want to switch on the new design as soon as possible, and that's our threshold. So we will hopefully be done with this by the middle of September, by the end of the 17th sprint. And yeah, so that's where we are currently in the 15th sprint. We also spent our 25% time on a character counter, on the search summaries, a bit of bug fixing for the search engine, and on asking users if they want to become contributors. So now if you sign up, you will see that we ask you and put you in a group so that we can actually see who is a potential contributor. Moving on to the 16th sprint, it's the same thing with the roadmap item, working on the IA parts of this and on the redesign. And the 25% time is, now that we know that you are a contributor, we can send you a special email, and that's what we will be implementing this week. We're also going to remove the less helpful statistics on the RMF Awesome page that were pretty demotivating. And we are fixing a very thorny issue on the search engine, not re-indexing things that have been changing. That's what we are working on during this sprint. Any questions? you guys like this format, or is this too much information?
I think it's great. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's much better than reading bugs. So yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like it's sometimes hard to follow along. Bugs, several bugs actually mean a single story, and sometimes it's hard to follow along. All right. I guess we can move on to UX then.
Okay.
So for UX, basically Bram is currently working for the redesign, and like I said, I mean, there's the IA part, but there's also the redesign. So right now we're in the redesign phase. We are basically trying to redesign every single part of the page. And as you can imagine, SUMO has a lot of different views. So we put them into different categories based on their priority so that we can switch to the new design as soon as possible. And currently, Bram is working on the support. So first on the editing part, but also he's going to move on to the support for. Yeah, Matt.
I was just going to say real quick here, just a show of hands, how many people on the team have actually gone through and looked at these mock-ups in this bug?
Very superficially, but
Okay.
they look cool.
I want an action item for everyone to go through and look at these because A, they're amazing, they look awesome, and B, we want everybody's feedback. So please just glance at them, take a look, make sure you get your feedback in.
Yeah, so right now the most important thing to give feedback on is the support forum, because on the support forum we are not only applying the base Mozilla design on the support forum, but we're also trying to make some changes while we are at it. So we are changing kind of you could say the information architecture of the thread listing page and also the threads themselves. So Brown sent, they're also linked from the Etherpad. You can see that there are two things that are in progress. So it's very important to get feedback on that as soon as possible because she's going to start working on them this week. So if you haven't already given your feedback, please do that as soon as you can. Or you say, I'm okay with how it's looking today and what other people already said about it. That's also okay. But now would be the time to say something if you want to see changes.
Ebi.
Yeah, I think that there is a actual discussion going on in the back, I think, or it has been over email. It started with Bram saying, "Hey, do we really want to do a full re-engineering of the forum now, or do we want to focus on just the skin or something in between?" We're going for the in between solution, but if other people it's really inclined to re-engineering it, maybe we can go for the really simple solution that is, okay, do whatever you can, and then let's spend the next 3 months or something just to think about the forums again and think how they should be working. Because I think that the solution that we're taking now, maybe it's gonna help us to feel comfortable for a little bit, but at the end of the day, in 6 months, we're gonna be in a position where the forums are, the solution that we implement is a little bit ad hoc. So I think that it's a good idea for all of you to take a look, especially the people who have been heavily working lately in the forum. Take a look, what do you think, what's your feedback, impression, and maybe we can reach an agreement.
Great.
Yeah,
I
think
Michael
really
first
important.
and then Kadir? Sorry.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that.
Well, sorry. So, what was I gonna say? So, yeah, Ebi, it sounds like what you're saying is we want to apply the new design to our current forum, but we want to try to see if we can fix some of the low-hanging fruit issues that we think maybe are easy that we can do without testing or something like that. We can think through some of these things. But also here what you're saying is that we probably should start thinking about we need to invest time in researching what to do with the forum design long term, right, the same way that we spent all this time working on the knowledge base. That we should probably do some user testing and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, just to answer Michael, sorry, I think that I was skipping somebody. There's some examples. There is the helpful vote that Bram has no idea where to put. It's like it just doesn't fix anywhere. And we assume that is the right thing to have, but maybe it's not. If we rethink about the forum, maybe we don't need that type of mechanism, and we will only rely on the solutions. Same with the thread view. We are trying to promote the helpful threads and solutions the same way as we're doing today. And Bram is having difficulties to match that to the new design. And we're trying to find compromises between the new UI, the visual design, and how the forum has been working for the last couple of years. And maybe we just need to think the forum completely from scratch and see, and then put a new UI on top of it instead of just taking something that was already done, that was working kind of okay, and putting a new layer on top and try to connect it as better as possible.
So Kadir?
Ibai, I think you're touching upon a really important point. I also saw that coming up actually in the bug discussion. But you also mentioned the middle ground. And I think what we are trying right now is we need to get this out as soon as possible because it's blocking us from switching to the new design. At the same time, just only replicating the old one would be just a waste because we now have a chance to get the low-hanging fruits. Because what we did over the last 2 years was basically tack on new features without any UX help at all. So we can get some of the low-hanging fruits, but we have to be wary of the time. So that's why we are trying to get this done now this week. If we can, any feedback that we have and that we can incorporate this week, we should try to do that. But we can't hold that any longer because it's holding back the switch to the new design. And I totally agree that we should rethink the forums. Over the last 2 years, we have been taking on new features without actually having the whole thing inside. So I agree we should look again at our goals, what we are trying to do with the forum, and see whether the features that the forum has today and the way the forum works today is still actually geared towards those goals. Maybe not. So yeah, I mean, there are two things to do here. One is the short-term solution to get the low-hanging fruits, because we're going to use this forum for the next few months, no matter what, and we might as well have a bit of an upgrade to that. But then the second one is to look at long-term solutions for this, and probably it would be good to start the discussion about that fairly soon.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. That's great, Kadir. Good stuff there. So we've got an action item right now for everyone to review what's currently in there. So give your feedback for the short term. So again, any low-hanging fruit that we can pick up right now, please call that out. But I don't want the long term to fall off the map and for all of us to forget about that. So what I'm wondering, Kadir, is if you or someone else on the team would like to get that ball rolling and maybe set up a meeting so that we can at least start just brainstorming for long term. What do we want to do, and maybe we can start talking about a timeline for that as well. I just don't want it to fall off the map and for us to forget about it for another year.
So you're saying a lot of the stuff in the bug is longer term.
No. In the bug, we should talk about the stuff that we can do right away. The low-hanging fruits. But I will. So actually, I can get the ball rolling here and start the session for that, and get people together, so we can at least have start thinking about what we might want to do.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, so is that everything for UX then, Kadir?
That is everything for UX, right?
All right, jumping right into it then. Cheng, do you have a Firefox desktop update for us?
I have a Flash update, and the Flash update is that we are, I know, seriously, that I think 11.4 is coming out soon. I don't have a date on it, but what we're doing for 11.4 right now is we're trying to push it out to a percentage of our Firefox beta and Aurora users. And so sometime, I'm hoping this week, it's unclear on the dates, people on beta and Aurora, some percentage of them will see a prompt to say, can you install the beta of Flash, which is 11.4. and that way we can see if there are any problems coming up. And so we should be on the lookout for feedback around that. So that's probably the best we've got in terms of Flash. Otherwise, there are no fixes. But all the concerns right now are whether or not the crashes in C11.3 are also in 11.4, and the answer is some of them are.
The answer is what? Some of them are?
Some of them are.
Uh,
I'd say whether all of them are, because we don't have symbols for all of 11.4 yet.
Okay. Thanks for keeping us updated on that, Chang. And in fact, maybe if you want to make a post on the forums, just in case there's some people who aren't going to be able to see this video, I'm sure they're all anxiously awaiting updates around Flash. It's great to know that progress is still ongoing, and we're still working in conjunction with Adobe to try to get to the bottom of this. I know it's been painful for everyone. Okay. KPI dashboard.
Yep,
Anybody
basically I have two updates for that. One of them is the helpful votes. As you can see, if you just look at that, our forum votes are as high or higher than ever before. Now, of course, I mean, I would love to think that that is because we're doing so well, but now I'm a bit suspicious. So I would like to look into that to see.
It jumped
whether
awfully
this
high.
time it's the other way around.
One day there, yeah.
Yeah, so now I'm gonna look at that to see whether that's the same thing, just the other way around this time. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's just us being awesome on the support forum. The other thing is that the LTNN thing is coming back, but you can also see that very easily.
Michael.
The search click-through rate. Is that thing ever gonna work? What's going on there?
Yeah, let me give you an update there. So we are dependent on our web trends logs for getting that data, and currently that is not automated. So my current goal is, excuse me, it's the logs. It's our server logs that we don't have automated. So web trends is not working for that. We can't use web trends data for that. So we need to use our logs, and the access to those logs is very restricted. That's one of the things that I'm working on, getting access to that, somehow try to fill that up. All that data is good, and we should be able to backfill that, but it's currently not automated, so we don't access to that.
So okay, but it's still like, do we know how we're even tracking? Do we know how we're tracking against our goal around click-through rate at the moment?
So right now everything. It's Billy, and Chang was nice enough to do that actually for the last, I think, last half year or so. There was an email. Unfortunately, there was an internal email, so only the people on the SUMO team got that email with a graph. I would like to actually put that online so that we at least have something to look at in the meantime. But it's not something that is automated. However, if you need to look at a specific, if you need to look at the click-through rate for a specific date, we can do that.
Moving on, community.
All right. So we have the first results for the community survey that we have launched like a month ago. In the end, after a lot of struggles, we managed to get 25 responses, which is good enough. It was a bit difficult to get people to actually respond, but in the end, it worked. So there are quite a few interesting things that I want to talk about. So I didn't put like the whole stuff there because it's too long and I'm going to like have a long email about it. But I just wanted to talk a bit about the most important. The first thing would be about the community feel. So a lot of people seem to feel quite isolated in our community. So we have 65% of our respondents saying that they feel either isolated or they're like neutral. So not. Yeah, sorry. Matt,
I was just going to say, is there anybody on the team that feels surprised by hearing that?
Don't think so.
Yeah, I think, we all had kind of expected that, so that's interesting.
Yeah, but now we have the numbers behind it, so that's good. So only 30% of the people seem to feel that the community is connected, and only 1% thinks it's very connected. So it's definitely something that we need to work on, which is to improve that community feel and, kind of try to connect people more rather than just, everybody working individually. Another interesting thing is the community interests. So they had 3 options that needed to be ranked. And it's very interesting because there were 2 things: helping out new contributors and socializing, which are more or less voted at on the same position. So they had like 7 votes as first preference and 6 votes as the second one. So again, a lot of people seem to be interested, first of all, in helping out contributors and also in socializing, which I think it's something that we have ignored quite a lot. And going to the open questions, again, we have a nice 20% of contributors who would like to see more socializing, and they would like to have a bit more fun, not only work. And also, very interesting, 30% of contributors who would like to see more interaction and communication from the SUMO team. So reading the comments, so remember these are the open questions, right? So there was nothing to choose from. There were like people who just writing. Like the question was, anything else you would like to add? And a lot of people said that they feel that their voice is not heard sometimes and that they're not part of the decisions that we're taking. So I think this is something that we really need to look at and try to improve our communication with the community, because it seems that we're not doing very well. So this is like very briefly what I found out. For now, as I said, I will have like a much more detailed email and like post in the contributor forum about it with examples and everything. But I think this kind of captures what is all about and what we should do more. And continuing from that, going to the next point, we had this very ad hoc idea on Friday, Rosanna, which is to organize the first SUMO community this Friday. So we don't have yet the details.
Sorry, you dropped out. The first community what?
TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. So what we want to do is basically try to gather all the people in the community and the SUMO team and, have a little fun on Friday. Not beer, because it's not allowed, but, just getting around for a casual chat. As I said, we don't have the details yet because it was something we talked about on Friday at 9 p.m. Just came like that. So we're going to post all the details immediately as we have them. Rosanna and I were working on it. But we have started the Fun Club of Sumo, which is a channel on IRC, which we tested on Friday. It was really cool. It's basically a channel where we want to gather everybody and talk not about work, but about everything else. Anything that you want to talk about, fun. Forget about users and whatever, just fun.
Anything within reason.
Exactly.
Let's preface anything within reason.
No, I mean, like Pound Sumo. I know that sometimes we try to have fun there, but still, it's kind of like the official channel, and then someone pops up with a serious question, whatever a joke you were talking about seems to be so trivial. So what we thought is, let's just have an additional channel where we just only have fun. So the only rule there is to have fun, and whenever you're just bored or whatever, just go there and just post the memes or comics, or it's kind of the idea. Like, if we can't bring the fun to Pound Sumo, let's have it somewhere else and keep Sumo as a more sort of a working channel, but like having the opportunity to have fun somewhere else. We tested this with Noah. Big thanks to Noah, who was our guinea pig on Friday, right?
Yeah. Go Noah.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun, and we're sure that this type of initiatives.
Sorry for interrupting you.
No, go on.
The experiment was actually very cool because I spent like 2 hours on Friday night talking about stuff instead of going and doing my own stuff. So it's cool. So let's do it again.
I love it. This is awesome stuff. Great work. So definitely looking forward to the email that you're going to send to everyone with more detailed information about this survey. And I'm also wondering if this calls for a follow-up meeting to discuss specifically some of the ideas that you guys have to, to address some of these issues. And I'd love to be a part of that. I'm sure a bunch of other people on the team would like to be a part of that as well. But this is fantastic stuff. Great work, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, all right. I will organize then a follow-up meeting regarding everything that's in the survey and what we can do in order to change that.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be tomorrow or anything. Definitely, take your time. I know you guys have a lot of things bubbling in there, a lot of ideas. So take your time on that. All right, line coverage. Is that something that we need to discuss? Looks like things are back up. Okay.
Getting there.
Yeah. Moving on to the knowledge base, Michael.
Wait, I have some points on the Elton.
Okay.
It's Elton.
Yeah,
it's the lion.
Elton and Lion.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, we used to call it the lion team. Sorry. I was wondering why everybody looked at me so confused.
Yeah, I was like,
I was also looking at
the
not maybe lion articles.
Okay, so I just wanted to say, thank you everyone who has been updating the Etherpads with their suggestions and ideas and pain points for the Elton and tools. Now we have, quite a good amount of information, so that we're going to start clustering that information. This is going to look like this. I'm going to start clustering all the information, putting things together, see, where, people said, maybe things that are similar that could be worked on the same page, and based on that, we're going to start working on proposals to actually change the tools. That means that if you know anyone who has still feedback and wants to give it to us, please use this week, because I think that afterwards we're just going to start working on proposals, and then you're going to be able to give us feedback, but it's going to be more to feedback about the proposals, and we're not going to be covering we're not going to be having new stuff in the pipeline. So please give us our feedback, and otherwise we'll start working on this week. On a good side, I just wanted to say that it's been amazing. I know that it was 300 updated articles, and everyone's email address was full with notifications and everything. And I mean these updates weren't sometimes it was just the summaries and the titles. But amazing work. I mean, in 2 weeks, we climbed up 30%, so we're back to 45% Elton coverage. I just want to say, everyone who went through those articles, 300 is really a lot, even if you just have to change a couple of sentences. I mean, it's more than 300 minutes for each one of you, so really, thank you very much for the ones who have been updating their articles. This is just amazing, and we've never gone back up so fast. It's 30% in 2 weeks, amazing. So I just want to make clear that, yay on, keep doing that, because it's amazing. So that's from the updates from the Elton part.
That's awesome stuff. Okay, Michael, knowledge base.
Yep. So. Not a lot of big stuff for a week. Hey, the problems are still the problems. There's no new problems happening. So hopefully have some time to work on those content gaps that we've been talking about, user education stuff. So creating some stub articles. And it's also time to start researching what the heck's changing in Firefox 16. So, and to start to develop the list of updates for Firefox 16. Yay!
Right, and definitely reach out to everyone on the team if you need help with that. I know that's a daunting task. Mobile updates.
I don't know if Michelle's on the phone or. She's hidden on my Brady Bunch.
You can't see me cheering and thumbs up.
You can see me.
Now we can see.
It's
I can see. Yay!
Michel Sina.
Nothing new for mobile. Just still need to make updates for version 15. There's a bunch of great features that hopefully not need any articles because they're so well designed. perfectly implemented.
Michelle, you're dropping out for me. There is a dog in the background of someone. Could you mute yourself?
Oh, that was me. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Now can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Sometimes it's not high enough. That was it anyways. Just still working on version 15 mobile updates on the knowledge base.
Okay, any questions around mobile? So again, same thing, Michelle, if you need help with any of that, I see you have some help called out there. Feel free to reach out to anyone else on the team. We don't want you to be overwhelmed. I know you've got a ton of stuff going on. So we're
Yes,
all
I'm
available to help.
reaching out to everyone with an Android device running beta for help with this.
Okay.
I need help with everything listed as needing updates.
All right, so we're all on video here. We all heard this, and Michael is recording this. So it's official. You have all been asked for help. Okay, great. Moving on, services and marketplace. Do we have any updates there?
No updates this week.
Okay.
Hopefully, I can report something soon.
I did want to say thanks though to Tyler and the contributors who are helping answer mobile questions on the forum. You guys are awesome. I've been trying to, take a look at it, but it's just great to see that the majority of questions are still getting answered. So thanks for helping out there.
Right. Support forum.
Right. So wanted to talk quickly about the discussion that we had with live chat helpers. So the idea behind it was that a lot of people still are still missing live chat, and we were thinking on how can we get all these people to actually get on the support forum and contribute there. So we organized this meeting on IRC with everybody on, or most of the helpers who used to do live chat. And we kind of gathered some ideas on what we can do in order to make, the support forum more friendly. So I will just go briefly through it. Basically, what the contributors said was, first of all, that they really liked live chat because it was very fast, it was easy to personalize, you felt like you were talking to a real person, you could solve an issue on the spot and you didn't have to wait, and you were just giving shorter instructions and that was it. On the other hand, it was very interesting to find out that a lot of people actually found it quite tiring to be on live chat. So they were easily burned out because it was very demanding, and they used to have like 5+ chats open all the time, and then they had like huge queues, and it was like super tiring. Which is interesting because now when you think about the support forum, that's a big benefit of it, right? You have the time to thoroughly investigate the issue. If the question is difficult, people don't get so easily tired. You can choose the questions you want to answer and so on and so forth. On the other hand, on the support forum, for somebody who is used to live chat, it can be very boring because there isn't this flow that a lot of people talked about, which is everybody had like their own flow of asking questions in order to troubleshoot and find the right answer. While on the support forum, basically have to, reply and then wait for somebody to come back and answer. Maybe the user doesn't come back immediately. It can take like days. At the same time, some other contributor might just come in and answer on the thread, and then it kind of interferes with your own flow. So there are a lot of issues like that. So we did a bit of brainstorming, and we had like a lot of suggestions that I listed there. This is all taken from the chat logs, because everything was on IRC. So there are like loads of suggestions on what we can do in order to make the whole support experience better. I think this would be interesting to discuss also when we're talking about what we're going to do next with the support forum, because this is a lot of contributor feedback on what they would like to see and how would they like to use the support forum, which I think we really need to take into consideration. when moving forward. So I will not go through all the suggestions because there are quite a lot, and then we'll stay here. We'll be here forever. So action items, the next steps regarding this is basically go through all these suggestions and kind of decide what can we do right now, what can we do later, what we cannot do, or what we can do but we might need to discuss more about it. And I would really like if everybody would take a look here and add if they had any suggestions or any feedback or anything that we could do with the support forum, because I think this is very valuable. And there are also a few contributors who said that they discussed about this before, and I asked them to kind of try to find the logs and, you know, so we can put everything in one place and see how we move further with this. Yeah. Michael.
Some of you guys, do you remember Kadir?
Sorry?
Oh,
You're
I'm
on
on
mute.
mute.
You're on mute.
Sorry. Kadir, Chang, do you guys, Ebi, even you, do you remember when we had the conversation about putting live chat on hiatus? Didn't we also brainstorm? We came up with a bunch of ideas that would make the forum more like live chat. You know, about answering questions on the forum in real time. I don't remember where those ideas were written down. Do you guys?
So I know that we did have that conversation, and we did all of that work at our work week in Toronto back in December.
We did.
I don't know where's that recorded, if anywhere. I think that the main takeaway there was like we need to, again, and going back to the point of rethinking how we are working on the forum and how the forum works, is just trying to re-engineer the whole thing with a more real-time-ish model in mind. So I think that eventually this year we need to revisit this. We need to, as soon as the whole IA-KB work is done, we need to dedicate some time to the forum to think about how to embed some of those chat functionalities, the features that people love about chat, into a more forum-like world. Because the agreement was that we can make it work, basically. I think that was the main takeaway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I remember we wanted to use chat, especially to train people to when they were answering on the forum, like they would be able to talk to people and then answer in the forum. So basically having chat as a back channel. I don't quite remember how we wanted to make the forum itself more like chat, but that's just because it's so long ago. I'm probably remembering that wrong, not remembering all of. But I'm totally in line with Ibai when he says that we need to rethink the forums, and it might be that this is one of the ways to go. That we not only have to rethink the forum from the user's perspective, well, what do you want to offer users, but also from the perspective of contributors, what do we need to do to get a more vibrant community? Because in the end, the forum is community, and it probably should be community-driven in the future too. So yeah.
Sorry, I just want to say, I think we can do it from take into consideration both perspective, like both users and contributors, because I really think that these two kind of work together, so they're not like against each other. We can totally come up with a model that can incorporate both. I'm pretty positive about it.
Rosanna, do you have something to add to that?
Yeah, I think that, you know, like it should be, we should make clear that, you know, like the at the beginning it was communicated as, you know, like it's a hiatus. So I think that some time has passed, and I think that there's a decision that has been made against that kind of live chat. So I think that the conversation is now moving towards let's try to change the forum, and I totally think that that's a good point. Like, because right now the forum is all about, you know, like, here's work, get it done. So, you know, let's try to think about if that's, you know, like the kind of forum that we want. And on the other side, I think that then we should then actually start communicating, you know, like properly. I think that we had this time where it was the hiatus, and I think that If that's no longer the case, then we should start communicating. So live chat, as it was, it's going to be gone, and now we're starting to work on something different. Sort of in the sense that we're moving forward. We acknowledge that there's a vibrant community that would still like to be there. But like that, we're gonna start working on different options right now, and that the form that we were having as live chat, or that technology it's not it's not going to be implemented in the near future. But we're gonna start thinking about what make live chat so great and try to put it somewhere else.
Yeah, I
so
mean,
to speak.
Michael, I know you guys said that you had talked about some of this before. If you can dig up any of that information, find any of that information, that would be great, and add it to this list. We've only got about 10 minutes left here, so I do want to move on, but I also want to just take a quick opportunity to thank everybody who contributed to this meeting. I'm seeing a ton of names on here. It's awesome that we have so many contributors that are so passionate about this, to take their time to to give us all this stuff. This is just great. So thanks to everyone who participated in this. It's awesome.
Yep. All right. Then I'll just be very quick and announce that there's a new SUMO Day this Thursday, the 16th. So if everybody can take a bit of time from their very busy day and answer as many questions on the support forum as they can, let's go back to the 100%.
All right. Thunderbird, Roland, what have you got for us?
I am working on the post Thunderbird 17 community-driven support plan, and I have some input from the community. Thank you. On that Etherpad, and I would like to get some precious minutes from Rosanna Madalena and Kadir to talk about this week or early next week, because you guys are all involved in potentially adapting it for potentially integrating Thunderbird into SUMO, potentially not. It's communication with the community about. That's it.
Good stuff. Okay, Firefox OS.
Hi. Okay.
Wow.
So in the knowledge base meeting last week, I mentioned this and provided some links there also, but I didn't really talk about it. So in the last 8 minutes, I just want to where we are with this, with scoping. So I've basically put together a scope of what we think we would need as a baseline set of content for Firefox OS user documentation. I mean, this doesn't include anything developer documentation. That would all be on MDN, is already on MDN for B2G. So this is just user support. The first link is for getting started. And this is really based on what we think we want. I mean, what are the greatest benefits of Firefox OS phone for the audience that we're going for initially in Brazil? The sort of things that we want to highlight for those users. Customized controls, options. So this is all just in the settings menu. There's nothing about customizing any of the 14 apps. I don't think we can I mean, maybe we can guess the things that are going to be confusing. There are some obvious things in the apps that I think we'll probably need to add to customize, but they might also land and fix problems for people. So this is really just the personalization. This list could be a lot longer if we said for every app what is the confusing thing. But in general, I feel like the interaction for each app, the menus all look the same. They're all in the same place for every app, which is awesome. So I think the experience is pretty simple, and hopefully people will have a good experience. And just when they think of customized, they're just going to be thinking like wallpaper, that kind of thing. So for the next link is fixed problems. I lost my. So fixed problems is just sort of a dump of like what are all the things that could possibly come up. I don't intend to document something in every one of these categories. Um, but I just wanted to put together to sort of start brainstorming and to get ideas from engineering also on what they think things will be for a hardware device. And then finally is downloading and installing new apps from the marketplace. So that's how it fits into the information architecture that we have, right? It's a little different kind of a fit. So that's also why I put all this stuff here to get impressions from people on how that fits. I'm talking to Brahm about, how to make this fit and Verdi and eBuy, and we all sort of think this might work all right. But I'm open. I'm all ears for other ideas on whether this works or if this will make sense to people other than us. For example.
All right.
So, and yes, Roland, you're pinging me in RC. Yes, it should be mentioned email and camera. Please add your stuff there. I just left it untouched, but I think it probably should be there. Should be in getting started, the email and camera stuff. So just add links once you get started.
All right. So initial thoughts. I mean, I think this looks great. You guys did a really good job of fitting it into the existing IA. I think it's solid. Obviously we're going to want to go through and do a little more detailed investigation, but this is good stuff.
Awesome. Oh, and you just made me think. So there's another scope of just the browser app, which is a lot like the Android one, but different in many ways. So Michael knows how to, he told me about how to use include so that we can use basically the same exact articles for everything that's the same, but change the title so that we get the SEO that we want. So that's awesome. And I will go through that as a separate exercise to say, like, here's the things that we'll use that apply. It's pretty clean. Everything that's not accessed from the menu in Firefox for Android is basically not implemented in the Gaia browser. So it's really just like bookmarks, history, awesome bar, clear your history. It's real basic. And the menu, the controls are a little different. Like I said, there's no menu really on this phone at all, which is cool. You don't have to go digging through a menu for anything. It's always all on the screen, which is, I think, awesome. So that's a separate scope exercise that I'll try to do this week.
All right. Any questions for Michelle? Okay, I got an action item for all of us to look at those pages and send Michelle any feedback. And with that, it is 2 minutes to the hour. So any audibles for the end of the meeting? Anything at all that we didn't discuss? How's the cadence? Everybody feel like we made pretty good progress? You didn't feel too rushed, though? Yeah? Wonderful. All right. So I will see you guys all later today. Everybody have a fantastic week, and we will talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.